Hi and welcome. I'm so excited and glad that you're here. My name is Brittany Khoury and I am a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner in Arizona. And throughout my career, I've had the privilege of sitting with many people through some of their most challenging moments in times of intense anxiety, depression, grief, burnout, uncertainty, and I had the honor to be part of their healing process. One of the things that I've learned through just being a human and being in mental health is that as humans, we all have a myriad of emotions, experiences, and a wandering mind. All of us experience fear. All of us get caught up in our thoughts. We all have struggles. Sometimes we may have a different story that got us to a particular emotion, but we all can understand what an emotion feels like. So if I go to someone and say, I'm really sad, maybe we had different experiences to get to that emotion, but we all understand the underlying feeling of sadness. And despite our differences, we also share something remarkably similar, that we all have the capacity to become more aware, to become more compassionate, and to relate to our experiences in a different way. And that's why I created this series. So for years, I've studied neuroscience, psychiatry, psychotherapy, and contemplative practices. And sometimes people ask me what approach I think is the right one. And the answer is, I don't think that they should compete with each other. So I think that they're asking different questions about the same mystery, the human mind. So neuroscience can help us understand more how the brain works. Psychiatry helps us understand mental illness and healing. And mindfulness helps us experience the present moment. Ancient contemplative traditions help us to ask deeper questions about suffering, compassion, and what it means to live wisely. So rather than choosing one perspective, I wanted to create a place that they could all have a conversation. So that's what this series is about. So if you've ever tried meditation and thought, man, I suck at this, you're not alone. I've heard it multiple times of people telling me, I'm a bad meditator. I can't meditate. And if you've ever believed meditation meant that you have to clear your mind, you're not alone. If you've ever wondered whether your mind is simply too busy to meditate, you're definitely not alone either. The series isn't about becoming someone different, and it isn't about forcing yourself to feel peaceful. It's not about removing all negative thoughts. It's certainly not about becoming a perfect meditator. What it is about learning how to relate differently to our minds. And I don't believe our mind is something to fix. I think it's something to understand. So what we'll explore together is a collection of meditation techniques, and it's a journey. Each episode is going to build on the one before it, and we'll begin by exploring what meditation actually is, some of the biggest misconceptions about it, and then we'll learn why our minds wander and discover that returning our attention isn't a mistake. It's actually the practice. We'll explore open awareness, loving kindness, and why meditation often feels so difficult. We'll look at what neuroscience can teach us about attention, emotion, and the remarkable adaptability of the brain. We'll talk about suffering, praise and blame, compassion, and how mindfulness extends far beyond the meditation cushion into our relationships, our work, our grief, our joy, and our everyday lives. By the end of the series, my hope isn't that you'll become an expert meditator. It's that you'll begin to develop a kinder, wiser, and more curious relationship with yourself. This series is for you if you've never meditated before. It's also for you if you've tried meditation and felt like you were failing at it. It's for you if you're curious about psychology or neuroscience. It's for you if you're navigating stress, burnout, anxiety, or simply the ordinary challenges of being human. You don't need any previous experience. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need to sit perfectly still. You don't even need to believe you'll be good at meditation. You simply need the willingness to be curious. And just a brief note before we begin, I want to mention something that is important. Although I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, the videos are intended for education and personal growth. So this is not a substitute for your individualized mental health care, psychotherapy, or any type of medical treatment. So if you are struggling right now with your mental health, I do encourage you to seek support from a qualified healthcare professional. My hope is that this series complements your journey and can offer practical tools that you can integrate into your everyday life. So before we begin, I'd like to invite you to make one small commitment. Not to meditate perfectly, not to become calmer, not to never have distracting thoughts, simply to stay curious. Curious about your mind, curious about your habits, curious about what happens when you pause. Curious about what it feels like to meet yourself with a little less judgment and a little more compassion. Because awareness always begins with curiosity. And curiosity is what creates the possibility for change. So thank you for choosing to spend some time with me. It's truly an honor to be part of your journey. And whether you watch one episode or all 10, I hope these conversations can help you feel a little more connected to yourself and a little less alone in your experience. So if you're ready, let's begin. I'll see you in episode 1. And until then, may you meet each moment with awareness, compassion, and curiosity.